The subject-media process happens on a large scale, whereby the masses are subject to a process that engulfs them in a worldview and narrative that is media-driven, often providing the same narrative for everyone. This is where the body of media comes into play. The body of media is the collective experience of the masses that indicates the enumeration of data that each is exposed to. The body of media has a particular focus on the lived body of the individual. The trend of media and society's representation and expectation of what the body norm is at the particular time in history, which is defined by media as well. History and media representation is always revisionist in the sense that it is evolving within the understanding of each person. It is probable that history is media, because of the all-consuming nature and data representation of media's history at any given time or moment. The history of the body in media has changed over time. Paul Watzlawick discusses how media have changed as they have shifted away from literature. Watzlawick explains, there was a time when naive storytelling was the construction of well-made plays, when trust in the instrument of language altogether had become problematic. Watzlawick also spoke of how trust in the old forms of communicating meaning, trust in the relationship with the public had vanished, loss of confidence on the part of the artist, and there was the advent of the new media, film and television. There was suddenly an invasion of stimuli as no one had seen before. This invasion was the accomplice of the subject media process. Static media was left in the wake of technology. Once one is doused in media, as though the masses are not already like fish in water, then the question becomes, is there a control factor or a big brother? There is no concrete measurable data that proves such a theory, but media are fashionable, inviting, and valued ways to go about decision-making in life. The seeming multiplicity of choices and options determine in large part our culture and its multiculturalism. Although there seems to be many choices, there is the fusion effect of the univocal. Persons do not have as much choice as they would seem. It is the limitation of the univocal because it offers no choice. Though it would seem media offer many choices, there is the univocity of media experience. The subject is challenged by the explicit use and unambiguous nature of what one understands, which is flatness. Fusion offers no choice, disguised as choice. Media are superexistent, beyond simple or complex understandings of existence. Media exist prior to thinking in any category. One is born into media just as Lacan would say one is born into language. Instead of ritual, which is largely influential in a deterministic way, media have taken on the role of being deterministic, while pretending to offer choice. Fusion is a tailored experience for the individual, just as the subject media process is for the masses, whereby the person becomes lost in media and loses their identity in the process. The subject media process can explain why so many are fused to the screen and experience one and the same illusion of reality, which lends well into explaining fusion as the individual loss of ritual and self. Since fusion is a process between media and subject, often it will stand alone as an individual demarcation between the real world and the virtual world. The demarcation, however, becomes less clear as the person enters fusion. The line between the subject and media becomes increasingly thin as the fusion process envelops the subject and the person becomes the process itself. There comes a point of blurring, and disappearance of the delineation between person and media. The process of fusion replaces the need for ritual life in postmodern world. The screen takes the place of the person's need for ritual and meaning-making, drying up the need for the personal experience of relationship and communication with other people. This work will primarily focus on subject and experience, fusion, subject media process, identity, relationship, gaming, virtual reality, and other matters directly related to media representations. This work always takes seriously the manner in which media violate them and subjective experience of those exposed to them. Through this work, one will come to understand how persons born in the postmodern era and even before are swimming in media. The conscious and unconscious are structured as media are structured. It is a post-truth world, and at this time in history, media are creating the very nature of experience that was once occupied by ritual. Media have replaced the meaning-making nature of life, especially as it has been in previous times expounded by ritual. The person no longer transcends, becomes authentic, or self-actualizes in relation to reality, because media is reality. Media control experience, violate and manipulate with their narrative in such a way as to pain the individual psychically and physically. Media have taken on the role of ritual and invaded the life and worldview of the masses.